The distress beacon pulsed through subspace like a dying heartbeat. Lieutenant Lisa Chen stood on the bridge of the UNSC Steadfast, watching the holographic display flicker with coordinates that placed them 3 parsecs beyond charted space. "Captain, we're picking up biosignatures," reported Ensign Laura Martinez from the sensor station. "One adult, non-human, life signs failing, and something smaller, possibly a juvenile." Captain Morrison leaned forward. "Time to intercept." 40 minutes at maximum burn, Lisa calculated, her fingers dancing across the navigation console. "But sir, that vessel's atmosphere is venting. They won't last 20. Morrison didn't hesitate. "Emergency jump, get us there now." The Steadfast folded space, reality bending around its hull as exotic matter drove them through dimensions human physics barely understood. When they materialized beside the derelict ship, its hull was already crystallizing in the void, atmosphere frozen in glittering streamers. Lisa led the boarding party. Beside her, Laura moved with the practiced efficiency of a Marine who'd seen combat on 4 different worlds. The young ensign had joined the Corps straight out of the Martian Academy, all sharp edges and determination. The alien vessel's interior was a nightmare. The architecture was wrong, angles that hurt to look at, corridors that seemed to curve in directions that didn't exist. Emergency lighting cast everything in sickly bioluminescence. "Life signs ahead," Laura whispered, her rifle raised. 30 meters. They found the adult first. It was massive, easily 3 meters tall, with 6 limbs and crystalline plates covering its torso. Purple blood pooled beneath it, already beginning to sublime in the failing atmosphere. Its mandibles clicked weakly, compound eyes tracking their approach. "Medic," Lisa called, but she could see it was too late. The creature had been shot multiple times, wounds cauterized by what looked like plasma weapons. The alien's lower limbs moved, pushing something toward them. A sound emerged from its thorax, not words, but the desperation was universal. Laura moved forward, lowering her weapon. Behind a twisted support beam, huddled in a pool of that same purple blood, was something small. "Contact," Laura reported calmly. "Juvenile alien life form, covered in biological matter consistent with the adult's circulatory fluid." Lisa approached carefully. The creature was perhaps half a meter long, its crystalline plates still soft and translucent. It had the same 6-limbed configuration as the adult, but its proportions were different, rounder, with oversized eyes that caught the light like prisms. It made a high-pitched keening sound that made Lisa's chest tighten. "Pirates hit them," she assessed, nodding the scorch marks on the bulkheads. "Probably wanted the ship, didn't expect resistance." Behind them, the adult alien shuddered once and went still. Laura holstered her rifle and knelt beside the juvenile. "Hey there," she said softly, as if the tone could cross species barriers. Maybe it could. The keening quieted slightly. "We need to get it back to the ship," Lisa said. "It's covered in blood, yeah." Laura was already reaching out, hands steady despite the alien nature of what she was touching. The juvenile's plates were sticky with purple ichor, some of it dried, some still viscous. "It's okay, little one. We've got you." She picked up the creature like she was handling a puppy, cradling it against her armored chest plate. It weighed maybe 10 kilos, trembling against her. Back aboard the Steadfast, the science team was in an uproar. Dr. Yuki Tanaka practically vibrated with excitement as Laura carried the juvenile into the medical bay. "Extraordinary, a completely unknown species. We need to establish a quarantine protocol, run full genetic sequencing, determine atmospheric requirements." "It needs to be cleaned," Laura interrupted, her voice carrying that flat tone she used when dealing with officers who'd forgotten the basics. "It's traumatized and covered in its parents' blood." "We can't just," Dr. Tanaka began. "Yes, we can." Laura was already moving toward the utility sink in the corner of the medical bay, the one they used for washing equipment. She tested the water temperature with her bare hand, adjusting it until it was lukewarm. Lisa watched, fascinated, as Laura began washing the alien juvenile like it was a particularly dirty dinner plate. Methodical, efficient, but somehow gentle. The purple blood swirled down the drain, and the creature's true colors emerged, pale blue crystalline plates with veins of gold running through them. Ensign Martinez, that is an unclassified xenobiological specimen, Dr. Tanaka protested. You're contaminating it with Earth bacteria. It's a scared kid covered in its dead parent's blood, Laura replied, not looking up. Her hands moved carefully around the juvenile's limbs, cleaning each one. Everything else comes second. The creature, Lisa was thinking of it as a cub now, despite knowing it might be something entirely different, had stopped keening. It watched Laura with those prismatic eyes, mandibles clicking softly in what might have been curiosity. Besides, Laura continued, if our bacteria were going to be a problem, it would have happened the moment we boarded their ship. We breathe the same atmospheric mix, or close enough. Evolution doesn't produce that kind of convergence without reason. Dr. Tanaka opened her mouth, then closed it. Laura wasn't wrong. The fact that the aliens used a similar oxygen-nitrogen mix suggested either parallel evolution or, more troublingly, that they'd been modified for the same environments. Lisa pulled up the data they'd recovered from the derelict ship's computer core. The translation matrix was still working on the language, but images were universal. She saw the adult alien, the parent, she corrected herself, in what looked like family groups. Saw ships and stations, a civilization that built in curves and spirals rather than straight lines. Saw, too, the symbols that every species seemed to develop eventually, warnings, dangers, territories, and on the very edge of their space, a skull and crossbones equivalent. Here there be pirates. They were running, Lisa murmured. Maybe fleeing persecution, maybe just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Pirates caught them in unclaimed space. Laura had finished washing the cub. She dried it carefully with a clean towel, and the crystalline plates caught the medical bay's lights, throwing rainbow patterns across the walls. The cub chirped, a different sound than the keening, more curious than distressed. What do we feed you? Laura wondered aloud. She looked at Dr. Tanaka. Any ideas? The xenobiologist had apparently decided that if she couldn't stop the marine, she might as well help. The spectral analysis suggests a carbon-based biology similar to Earth arthropods. I'd hypothesize a protein-rich diet, possibly with mineral supplements for the crystalline structures. So like ground beef with calcium powder, Laura asked. I suppose that's one way to put it. 3 hours later, the cub had eaten, enthusiastically consuming a mixture that made Lisa's stomach turn just looking at it. And Laura had fashioned a nest of sorts from blankets in one of the observation rooms. The cub settled into it, curling its 6 limbs beneath its body, and its eyes began to dim. Literally, the light behind them fading as it drifted toward sleep. Lisa found Laura sitting beside the makeshift nest, her rifle within easy reach but her posture relaxed. You're good with it, Lisa observed. Laura shrugged. Had dogs growing up. Basic principles apply: food, water, safety. Kids are kids even if they're alien kids. The captain wants to know what we're doing with it. We're 2 weeks from the nearest station, and that's assuming we don't run into whatever killed its parent. We keep it safe, Laura said simply. We find its people, return it to them. That's what humans do, right? That's what we're supposed to be good at, caring about things, even when it's not convenient. Lisa smiled. The HFY crowd would love you. The what? Humanity? Fuck yeah. Old internet culture before the colonies. The idea that humans are special because we're stubborn and compassionate and occasionally stupid enough to adopt alien orphans. Laura snorted. Stupid has nothing to do with it. This is just the right thing to do. She paused, watching the cub sleep. Besides, it's not like washing it was difficult. You just do it, Like washing dishes, no problem. The next 2 weeks were a crash course in interspecies childcare. Dr. Tanaka's team determined that the cub was approximately equivalent to a 3-year-old human in development, old enough to have basic mobility and communication skills, young enough to need constant care. Laura appointed herself primary caretaker, with Lisa providing support. The cub, which they'd started calling Nova for the way its plates caught light, learned quickly. It mimicked sounds, developed a vocabulary of clicks and chirps that the translation matrix slowly decoded. And it taught them. The way it moved through three-dimensional space made their engineers rethink ship design. Its ability to perceive electromagnetic fields led to improvements in their sensor arrays. Its presence changed them, made them think differently. On day 14, they made contact with the cub species. The transmission came through subspace, and the relief in the alien voices was audible even before translation kicked in. "You have found one of our lost ones," the translator crackled. "We feared all were dead when the raiders came. You have our eternal gratitude." The reunion happened at a neutral station. Laura carried Nova down the boarding ramp, and the cub's family was waiting. More of the crystalline aliens, their plates shifting through colors that might have been emotions. Nova clicked excitedly, scrambling down from Laura's arms to rush toward them. But it paused halfway, looked back at Laura and Lisa, chirped once, a sound they'd learned meant safe or good or maybe just thank you. Then it was gone, absorbed into its family, and Laura and Lisa were left standing on the ramp watching an alien reunion. "You know," Lisa said quietly, "they're going to tell stories about this, about the humans who found a cub covered in blood and just washed it in a sink like it was nothing." Laura smiled slightly. It was nothing, it was just the right thing to do. But it wasn't nothing. It was everything. It was proof that compassion could cross the gulfs between stars, that kindness didn't require a common language, that humanity's greatest strength had nothing to do with their weapons or their ships or their technology. It was simply this: when humans found something that needed help, they helped. No hesitation, no grand philosophical debate. They just did it. Like washing dishes. "No problem,"